Hello everybody, Ray Garner with Garner's Games here, doing my weekly comic review, and this week we're doing issue 60 of Amazing Spider-Man. This is a rather thick book, relatively speaking, for comics nowadays. It's brought to us the main story, main story, by Zeb Webbs and John Romita Jr., one of my more favorite artists. This book is kind of the wrap-up book of what's been going on in Spider-Man as we're setting up for the next big arc. And we're starting off, if you've been reading, Tombstone's been basically controlling the city since the events of Gang War. By the way, one of the best multi-issue crossover things Marvel's done in a long time, in my opinion. I'm usually not a big fan of those. And after a big fight in the last issue where Tombstone was going to kill his daughter, the Beetle, Spider-Man, basically fights him until they're basically both knocked out. And we have a trial going on with the prosecutor. Apparently, which I think is weird because I think she's mostly a defense attorney, being She-Hulk. Well, after the main witness, which is Janice, the Beetle, has fled town, and the only main evidence being available was from Spider-Man, a masked vigilante, which is not really submissible in court. The case is thrown out. Tombstone gets away. He has a nice little conversation with Parker where he tells him to tell Spider-Man basically what happened and tell him that he won. He got off because he got to the judge. But he also wanted him to tell him, Spider-Man, thank you. They don't know for what. And basically, it was for the fight in the previous issue where Spider-Man fights him beyond allowing Janice to escape, but also fights him to convince him that he can't kill his own daughter over the whole gang war thing. So once that's all over, Peter goes back to spend a little time with Aunt May, only to be interrupted by the Sandman. I kind of like the wrap-up idea of this, but a lot of this seems to be just either setting up stuff or having a little fun moments. Like Aunt May helping Peter stop the Sandman by getting the device that basically breaks up his molecular bond with the sand. Which Aunt May actually is scared that she may have helped him kill him, but he points out that Sandman's basically immortal now. We cut back to Harlem where the Rabbit is leaving Tombstone because he sent her to kill her friend. She couldn't do it, but she realized he could. And we have another dinner conversation with Peter and Aunt May. They're talking about Peter's obsession with helping Spider-Man. And then that finished up the main story. Then we have a collection of back issues, or backup stories, I should say, not back issues. And these are fun. They're only a couple of pages, 2 or 3 pages, sometimes maybe 4 each. And they basically are just kind of setting up what's going on with various characters throughout the time. Peter's on a double date with MJ. Goes to the bar and has some drinks with Logan. Basically, I think it's referencing an older story. It's been a while since I read it. But I think basically it's an annual deal where once a year Peter and Logan get together and kind of hang out for a day. And then we have another story where Bushwhacker is taking on Spider-Man and Chasm. Ben shows up and has a conversation with Peter. And I think kind of setting up what they're going to be doing with that character. And then we have another deal with Override. I don't even really remember. I know I've seen him before, but I don't even think he ranks half as good as the Sharker does as far as villains go. But, you know, Spider-Man beats him in a few pages. And then we end on with the setup for the next big story arc, Doom and the 8 Deaths of Spider-Man. This book is fun. I like the epilogue deal kind of telling you what all happened. But this is obviously the setup for the weird ending, what's been going on with Amazing Spider-Man in this issue, and we're starting the new stuff next month. Because this is basically a huge wrap-up issue. It's $7.99, so you get what you pay for because it is a pretty thick book. A good story arc. I mean, really, this run with John Romita Jr. as the artist, and the story has been going on with Gang War and Tombstone and everything else. Some of the best stuff that Spider-Man's been having in a while, in my opinion. A while, in my opinion. So, if you've been reading this is a really fantastic end cap for the stories that have been going on. If you're looking forward to what's coming, this kind of tells you what's been going on. So it's not a bad book to get, but it's not a great jumping on point. Because it's a end cap with a little bit of setup. Mostly an end cap. So if you haven't been reading Spider-Man, I'd recommend going back and reading the previous issues leading up to this, basically the last 2.5, 3 years of Spider-Man, because it's really good. But, like I said, not necessarily a great jumping on point. Anyway, great book. I enjoyed it because I have been keeping up. So I'll see you next time. Enough said.